Welcome to the Boating Business Success Podcast, where we talk about expert insights from industry professionals. We talk about success stories from their experience in the industry. And we also discuss exclusive strategies to market and sell boats. Today, I have Bob Denison, president of Denison Yachting. Denison Yachting has been number one in super yacht sales in 2022. This is a stat that I found on your website. And 3 generations of yachting expertise. So I'm super excited to learn about your experience and about the yachting business. Thank you so much, Bob, for being here.
Of course. Thank you, Jose. It's an honor.
Thank you. All right, so let's get started. Can you first give us a description about your business? How long have you been in business? And then number of employees, markets you serve, just a brief description.
Yeah, so we are a yacht brokerage and charter company. That's the core of what we do. We also have services attached to that we are very proud of. I think we do a great job with yacht management, as well as crew placement and financing, insurance, and all that stuff. But the core of what we do is sales and charter. We have been in business as Denison Yachting / Denison Yacht Sales since 2001. And prior to that, my family built yachts, different business. I was called Broward Marine and Denison Marine. That's my grandfather behind me. And they built boats here in Fort Lauderdale and also up in Saugatuck, Michigan. And at one point, we're the largest producer of yachts over 80 feet in the world. And the markets that we serve today on the brokerage and charter front is really any major kind of port that you see on the East Coast of the US or the West Coast. We likely have an office with a team there. And we also just opened up a new office in Monaco. So we are committed to being at the places that you would probably want to be on the water, whether it's Fort Lauderdale or Miami or Annapolis or Charleston or Seattle. We do our best to attract the best people to work there on our behalf.
Awesome. And you said your main focus is sales and charter.
Correct. Yeah.
And what kind of yachts and boats do you specialize the most?
So we have a little bit of a different approach, and I'm going to describe what would be the perfect scenario. And I don't want to say that we're there yet, but we really love the idea of having specialists in each category of yachting and boating, take great care of clients there and be an expert. So whether it's the multi-hull catamaran market or sailing or monohull or trawlers or sport fish or of course super yacht, we really want to have a team that really knows what they're doing and can add a lot of value and take good care of people. So when I hear that question, sometimes it's hard to answer because we're not necessarily corporately attacking one segment of the market. But what we try to do under the hood is have teams that really know their stuff with each category of boats. And the majority of what we do is brokerage, which of course is used boats. We do some new boat sales. We have some really strong team of guys that are doing new construction, but we definitely, the bread and butter of what we do is brokerage, used boat inventory in the US and in Europe.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So your main strength right now is brokerage.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And so what would you say, Bob, are the main factors that you attribute to your growth?
Since the very beginning, we've been really thoughtful, and I would almost use the word obsessed. On our best days, we're obsessed with it. The idea of just taking great care of people, whether that's our employees, of course, or our clients, and just figuring out creative ways to make the process of buying or selling a yacht really easy. I almost use the word fun, but it's not every part of it's fun. There's a lot of boring parts to it, but really easy, safe. It is a very big purchase for people outside of their home. It's typically going to be one of the largest purchases that they make as a family. So we want to create an environment and a process and a platform, making that process really easy, safe, and make it feel good. So we use technology a lot for that. And we really try to put ourselves in the shoes of the customer and figure out how to just make that process better.
Got it. And you have a strong marketing background, right? Is that what you specialize on?
Yeah, I think so. We have a good marketing team. We very much are proud of what we do on the marketing front. And I think we are more aggressive in terms of digital marketing than most firms. Here, as we sit right in the middle of the year 2024, there's still a lot of opportunities digitally where a lot of our competitors aren't keeping their eye on that ball. We are still an industry that, if you were to take a look at marketing budgets in a pie chart, there's still a massive amount of money going towards print, a massive amount going towards event and boat shows, both of which are really important. Oftentimes, I wonder if firms couldn't take a little bit more out of that side of the budget and put it towards some smart digital initiatives.
Interesting. Do you see a transition happening?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The last 5 years, you're seeing chunks of that move to digital, whether it's social or PPC, or there's so many different things you can do there. But I still think there should be more of a shift on the digital front, especially when you think about smart, thoughtful digital marketing, not just a PPC ad, but really dynamic marketing, making sure that you're reaching out to people on their terms, reaching out to people with boats that they want, not just massive blast of fluff and branding stuff, but really get hyper focused and meet people where they are about the boats that they're most interested in, not just about your brand.
Mm-hmm. And what are your main responsibilities in the company?
So as president, I oversee the people that work here, the operations. I'm attracted to marketing, but definitely involved with broker management, definitely involved with making sure that deals are going smoothly. I'm not so much involved on a deal-to-deal basis, more as I'm needed if something gets a little complicated or a little bit hairy, but very much growth-minded and really try to figure out how to, again, think of creative ways to make our customers feel good about working with us is important to me. So all of that stuff lumped into a big bowl every day. It's a different challenge. Today, I'm jumping on an airplane and going to see our offices in California. We have a boat show in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And it's not just about selling the boats there in San Diego. Of course, that's the goal at a boat show, but it's also just making sure that the team knows that I'm there, that I care about them, and making sure that show goes smoothly for them and our clients.
Love it. And so how would you describe your marketing system and strategies at Denison Yachting?
So we have an in-house team. Landon DeGraff leads that team here. And if I could have the ability to show you behind that wall, you'd see a lot of really good people working on different things together. We also, a really cool thing happened. We were acquired by a company called One Water Marine about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. We also work closely with their marketing team, and they have a massive marketing team. And so it's a little bit of a symphony with our team working with their team. We also use third party, we outsource stuff depending on workload and depending on what kind of expertise we need. But it's a mixed bag of in-house with One Water and also outsourcing. But it's really, a lot of it is driven digitally. Of course, we do the print and the boat show stuff, but we really try to stay ahead of the curve on digital marketing.
Mm-hmm. Love that. And what are your different customer groups or target markets and your main customer persona right now?
Yeah, I would say we get pulled into the conversation often of marketing to millennials and Gen Zers, and those are exciting conversations. But we spend very little time here executing on things like that. Our typical client is going to be an older, usually they're going to be white. Usually they're going to be lifetime boaters that have moved up the size or the experiential. It's a really neat thing to see that progress. We do have younger boaters and yachting families coming in. And of course we have different demographics in terms of nationalities and all that stuff. It's very exciting. But if you were to take a look at our core customer, it probably looks a lot like my parents in their 60s, 70s, and they use their yacht or their boat to bring family together. And this is my sort of pitch for why boating is so great. They value that time on board where their kids or their grandkids or perhaps themselves, they put down their cell phone and they forget where it is. And they have time together. So that's really like our main core. And it's not just us, probably most firms like us. That's our primary, if I had to say, what does a client look like? They look a lot like that. The stuff in TMZ, of course, is a little more exciting, but that's not most of our core customers.
Got it. Is it mostly from the US or also international?
Yep. A lot of US clients. Again, we're here in Fort Lauderdale, which is the yachting capital of the world. So we have a lot of people coming from South America, a lot of people coming from Europe, we are getting a few more people coming from Asia, but you have still the majority of people buying boats on the bigger super yacht brokerage level are going to be Americans. And that's not just because we're here in America, but Americans represent the vast majority of, or I would say the biggest chunk of buyers in the world.
Yeah. And how do you reach them with your marketing?
The marketing part's really important. If I was to humble myself, which I always need that, as much as I'm proud of what we do on the marketing front, the truth of it is the majority of people coming in to buy a yacht with us are repeat customers. So we love it when we meet a new client and we get to show him or her or the family the joys of yachting and take them through the process and educate them. And that's a wonderful thing. The vast majority of our clients are repeat clients, and it has less to do with marketing, as important as marketing is, and more to do with the just taking really good care of people, not leaving them when there's a problem. It's a boat, so there's always going to be some kind of issue. Always making sure you hit that green button on your phone and just going out of your way to provide really good customer service. Like, the likelihood of them coming back to you is pretty high. And then the ultimate goal, which we love, is when they tell their friends next to them at a dock or a party or on a boat that, hey, you've got to use these guys at Denison, or you've got to use this guy at Denison. They're really awesome. And we see more business coming that way than we do marketing initiatives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've always thought about that because it's a huge purchase. And how do you get those people for the first time? I understand, like, repeat and then word of mouth and then your reputation for so long and also doing great work. But then the new people, how do you get them? Because they're probably doing a lot of research. They are probably very sophisticated people. Yeah. So what do you think are the best ways to target them and to attract their attention?
I think a lot of it is on especially people doing research and first time anything. I think people like that are really drawn to subject matter experts and people that are authority on that thing or that service or that product. In this case, we of course can talk about yachts. There's a lot to be said for somebody calling you not to be sold something, but calling you to be educated about things. So for us, we have, I should know the exact number, we're around 250,000 subscribers on YouTube. I just happen to have this on my desk. I'm very proud of it. So that's a little
congrats. That's there.
And yeah, and all that though, all of our videos, or most of them, are yacht tour walkthrough videos that are not short. And in the early days, I remember everybody saying, oh, you need to have your video be under 30 seconds, or maybe it was under 90 seconds, whatever that time frame was at the time that was important. You had to stay under that. It's just a bunch of nonsense. And we decided very early on, if somebody really wants to learn about a boat and it's produced well and it's fun to watch, people will stick on and hang out there for 20, 30 minutes. So a lot of our videos are at least 15 minutes long. And we found that not only is it good for that specific boat that people are looking at and perhaps want to buy, but also to help people understand that we really know what we're talking about, that the broker that's on that video knows how the generators work, at all the different complex parts of the boat, even just the soft stuff about layouts and galley and beds and just all that. The broker really understands it all and can talk about it with confidence. It really helps position yourself as somebody that really knows what they're doing, and hopefully puts you in a better position on being an authority on something. So I think videos are an incredibly important part of that.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So from what I understand, if you put yourself in the mind of one of your prospects or customers when they are in the research process, or they decided they want to buy a yacht, and they start researching on Google, YouTube, and then they see one of your videos of a walkthrough and they like the boat, and they have friends that know you and they know your reputation. And so I guess then they contact you. How does that look like after the lead comes in?
Yeah. So for us, especially when you talk about those videos, and again, I think YouTube is such a great place for people to go to when you need to learn about something, whether it's, oh my gosh, my sink is leaking or exploded or some crazy things going on, you want to figure out how to fix something, YouTube is the place to go. We have good friends of ours right now are looking to build a pool. So they're going on YouTube and looking at cool pool designs and ways to like think of unique, like all that stuff lives on YouTube. There's so many things that you can learn. For crying out loud, if you wanted to become a programmer, all you have to do is find a great channel on YouTube and you can learn everything you need to know about code and you're there. So I think that whole thing of YouTube being the place to go is so important, and we naturally go there. For us, we love to have our brokers front and center. So on every boat we have, it's not me, it's our brokers. And we want a first time, whoever it is, to see not only the boat and the yacht, this guy knows what they're talking about, but we want them to see David Johnson. We want them to see Peter Quintel and Alex Talakin and feel like they know them. Oh my gosh, that's Alex Clark. I've seen his videos 10 times. And you meet them in real life. Not only do you feel good about it, but you're like, oh, I feel like that guy might know me. I know him. So it creates like a humanity to it. And so it's really important for us. There's a lot of brokerage firms that have a professional host or a spokesperson, but we really like the idea of a broker. And then the idea is you make it very easy for people to call or email or reach out, and all that stuff is just the technical side of marketing, making sure that people know where to click. And then hopefully at some point they'll pick up the phone and have a conversation with them and feel like they're working with somebody that knows what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And you have all of your brokers doing videos on different yachts?
I wish. We don't. We have many brokers don't want to, or they're in a segment of the market where they don't feel like they need to for that type of yacht. It's usually the bigger boats. And then frankly, there's just some brokers that just don't feel comfortable on camera, so we don't make them do it.
Yeah.
But those that do feel comfortable doing it really thrive. They meet new people. We've had a few brokers sell boats well into the 10, 15, $20 million range, new customers that they've never had encountered before, first-time buyers that found us on YouTube. And it's really a place where that stuff happens. And I wish every one of our brokers did it. Even on the smaller boats, I think it's an important platform, an important way to meet new people.
Yeah, definitely. I love the idea. And how do you then distribute those leads? You get all the contacts to your company, then how the brokers...
Yeah. So they come into our company and we will distribute it to that specific broker. But we also and again, this is about hopefully creating a frictionless experience. I hate using that word because it's a little bit of a buzzword these days, but the idea of we really want that client to be able to pick up the phone and speak directly to that broker. So again, a lot of firms like putting their office number in there, and then you have to talk to the receptionist who's going to try to connect you with the broker. Maybe he's busy, maybe he's not. But we really believe in the idea of, hey, here's his email address, here's his phone number. We also include the others, so we do get the calls direct sometimes, and we'll pass it on to the broker. But we really want the client to be able to get to that yacht broker as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. And then how does the process look like after that? Once they talk to the broker, there's education going on. What are the next steps?
Yeah, it depends. We really love the idea of getting to meet people in real life and having them see the boat that they're wanting to look at in real life. So we always encourage people to come see the boat in person. And it's a good opportunity for the broker to pick them up at the airport, grab lunch with them, break bread, and just get to know them. But oftentimes, especially during COVID, you weren't able to do that. So we did a lot of FaceTiming on board, making sure that you could take a deep breath, walk through the entire boat. It might take a few hours, but really try to get a sense of space and really try to learn about what's the mission of that boat for that family. Is it to entertain clients? Is it to bring family together? Is it a party platform? What are the things that would make it a win for that family? Where do they want to go? How long do they want to stay on board? Are they just doing day boating? So it's all about learning about what that is for them and then finding the right boat for that family.
And then I guess there's a show, like that's the showing, and then there's like signing paperwork, doing all the
yeah. So it's the identifying what boat, and oftentimes it really is that boat that drew their attention the first time. And then once you find the right boat, you negotiate a price with the seller, and usually there's another broker. So the most important kind of first step after you find the right boat is to make sure that you can come to terms on a price. And once you do that, you then go into a survey sea trial part of the process, which is really going to look a little bit like a car test drive and also maybe a home inspection where you have somebody that comes in, a professional, test all the systems, make sure that the boat is as advertised, make sure that everything's maintained, not just the engines and the generator, but the air conditioning, the plumbing, the ice maker, the fridge, all that stuff. And it's a boat, so there's always going to be something that's not working perfectly. So you have a list of things that need to either be fixed or that need to be perhaps replaced, or there's even, instead of that, you just give the buyer a concession and they can do it the way that they want to. But that process usually takes about 2 weeks, depending on the location and size of the boat and all that stuff. And then you have another 2 weeks to close and make sure that the boat is flagged in a way that would make sense for you. Are you going to put it in a charter to offset the operating costs? There's all kinds of post-survey sea trial conversations. And then hopefully within 30, 45 days, you can close on that yacht.
Got it. What are some of the main challenges and mistakes that you see brokers doing during that whole process?
I think sometimes a broker can get too emotionally attached to a deal or to a client, or feel like you need to, it's easy. Let me put it this way. It's easy to get sucked into the emotion of a deal. And the very best brokers don't allow themselves to do that. It is, while they have to emotionally really care about their clients, they also need to protect their clients from making bad decisions based on emotion. Because sometimes you do have big egos involved, and it's important to, in a very polite way, in a very sympathetic way, explain and at the same time sympathize and make sure that if that client does want the boat, or on the other side, if they really do want to sell it, to make sure that the little small things that could result in a big emotional thing don't get in the way of a successful deal. So I think the very best brokers are really good at that. And also the very best brokers understand what great client service is. And it is not possible. Excellent customer service and client service is really easy to talk about, but it's not possible unless you're inconveniencing yourself. So whether that's waking up really early, whether it's making sure that you go the extra mile for somebody when they're not even asking for it, or just those creative ways that you can pay attention and really add value, like that stuff is inconvenient, it's going to hurt. And so I think a mistake some brokers can make is acting like or pretending like they're providing good customer service, but they need to check themselves, because if they're not inconveniencing themselves or suffering a little bit, they're probably not giving that excellent, out of this world kind of service. And it's easy to get complacent.
Yeah. The discipline of preparation and diligence.
Yep, exactly.
Bob, and what are some memorable stories, or one memorable story that you have from your experience in the industry?
Oh man, there's so many. I think one of my favorite stories, and it's actually not a story about a client, it's a story about a broker. And he and I started in this industry right around the same time. His name's Alex Clark, and he and I we still are the same age, but we went to college together. We broke into the industry right around the same time, and we had the opportunity. He was working at a different firm. I had taken over the reins at Denison, was leading this company, and I was always wanting the guy to work with us. He took a chance and he decided to come join our team. And there was many years, not months, but many years where we just were, I hate to say, stumbling through trying to figure out how to be awesome at what we did, but we really did it together. We were sharing a car for a long period of time and just really doing the peanut butter and sandwich thing for lunch and dinner. And he really was one of those guys that just put in the hours and hours. You talk about great customer service and all that. He really represented that and continues to represent that, and has gone on to be one of the most successful yacht brokers of his generation, for sure. And for sure, one of the best brokers here, and has helped build this company. And it's just really, I love looking back on our story together and how he became who he was, and he helped us become successful and all that stuff. Like it really is a neat story. He represents to me somebody that really gets the grittiness of the business and really gets the just taking good care of people part of it, and has been rewarded for that, not only financially, but also reputationally and with friendships and all that stuff. I'm incredibly proud to work with him.
Cool. How has your experience changed since you started in the company?
I don't know if it's changed too much. I still get stressed out every day. I think mostly about the right things. I'm I don't know if it's a good thing. My wife says it's not a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I have a thing of paranoia. I want to say a healthy form of paranoia where I'm always looking around at our competition. I'm always looking at ways that we could be better. I'm a very unsettled person. So if there's one consistent thing about me is that I'm never settled. And I think that my approach to coming into work every day and just being obsessed with the client, like all that stuff is the same. No matter how big we get, no matter how many offices or brokers we have or how many boats we sell, I have this weird, oh my gosh, that we need to figure this out in a better way or we're going to die thing. As much as our company's changed, my like that part of me is the same. And I don't think I'm ever going to lose that, which is probably not good, but in some ways it's healthy.
High achiever.
Yeah, I don't know. Very stressful.
What are some of your accomplishments that you're most proud of?
Oh, just that story I told you of Alex. There's a lot of Alexes here, a lot of them, and being able to bring young brokers into the industry. And believe me, I'm not taking credit for their success at all, but having a piece of that, like whether it's education, mentorship, friendship, whatever. And some have gone on to start their own companies or gone to other firms. Most of them have stayed here. To see that their successes is like the best. It's really cool. And they've all played a big part of our success. Not a big part, but all of them are the reason that we do well. So I love that stuff. And it's money, of course, is important. Success and little plaque from YouTube saying you do videos good is pretty cool, but like the friendships part of it and that stuff is so rewarding. It's just, it's the best. So super proud of that.
Love it. And what is an average day for you? I see that you travel a lot, you speak at events, you go to the boat shows. How does that look like normally, like a regular week for you in your position?
Oh, it's different. Every week is so different. But yeah, a lot of traveling. I love communicating. It's like one of my favorite things. I love figuring out hard problems. It really depends on the day, the week. But there's a lot of making sure that people are being taken care of in every department. And again, I said I'm drawn to marketing, so I love spending time doing that. But every week is radically different. And it's not just because it's us. This industry is so wild in that way. Whether it's an event, a boat show, a specific transaction, a new manufacturer coming into the office, a complicated deal that needs to be rescued. Every day presents a really unique rhythm to it. Like today, I'm starting my day with a few phone calls right before this to help some clients that really need to sell their boat. And we're going to figure that out. And then I get to jump on a really cool conversation with you. And then I'm going to be jumping into a few other meetings with clients about buying boats. And I'm jumping on a plane to go to San Diego. Like it's a Thursday. It's crazy. It's awesome. And that kind of whatever you want to call that, unpredictable, like it's a lot of fun and I'm so blessed.
Yeah, it's so cool. But basically you're like meeting with partners, clients, brokers, and going to the different places in the world where they are operating and making sure that everything is working properly, keeping everyone connected. And
by the way, there's people that do what I do in life insurance or real estate or whatever, and just as exciting. But I get to do it with boats and yachts.
It's incredible.
It's just, it really is a special thing.
Yeah. Bob, and what about your current goals and the vision for the future of Denison Yachting?
We are focusing more on charter. So you're going to see more coming out of our company about yacht charter, not just because it's a growing segment, shared consumption and peer-to-peer, like all that stuff in our industry, at least on the big boat side, starts with charter. And it's a great way to introduce clients to yachting in a you have to own this and you have to deal with crew. It's a really cool, just figure out if you wanted in it. So that segment of the industry is growing. And to be frank with you, we are lagging a little behind some of our competitors. So we need to grow in that way. So you're going to see a lot of effort from us there. And then also it's just the ownership part of it is the core of what we do. And we're, I think, entering into a really healthy period of great things happening in our industry. There's a lot of money on the sidelines. There's a lot of baby boomers out there that are going to have time on their hands and they've got disposable income and they just want to have fun. And not all of them are going to buy a boat, of course, but there's a really decent amount of people that are going to be trying to figure out how to bring their family. And boating, thanks to technology, is getting safer. It used to be seasick. Now you've got stabilization. There's all these really new things coming out to making boating more fun and safe. I think we're going to be entering into a really cool period to make a living in our industry. It's going to be the next 10 to 15 years are going to be a lot of fun.
Love that. It's like charters are like the entry point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Charter's like the gateway drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they like the charter and they like the vacation with their family or whatever they did. And then they get interested in buying the boat. So it's really smart to focus also on that side to bring more people that maybe have never had a boat and they're just like exploring.
Yep.
Really cool.
Exactly right.
What are some of your initiatives and projects that you're working on that
side? On what side? On the charter side?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that about charter that I've always been annoyed with in our industry, I don't know who to blame, but it is really annoying when you charter a boat. Let's say you have a boat that it says $150,000 for the week, and you then learn that does not include food. It doesn't include wine. It doesn't include fuel or dockage or gratuity for the crew. And it doesn't include this other, and it just, then you find out that you're going to be spending an extra, I don't know, let's say $55,000, $60,000 on top of that, depending on what you're going to do. So we've developed, we're actually about to announce it next week, an all-inclusive program where it's just one, and it's great for first-time charters that have never said, hey, here is $200,000, includes everything, including gratuity. You don't need to worry about spending another dollar. And so that number might be a little higher, or for sure will be higher than the advertised prices it sits, but you won't get that feeling of being baited and switched. So that's one of the ways we hope to make that charter experience a little bit better.
Love, that's a great idea. Yeah, because they've probably never experienced being on a yacht, and having an issue there could mean that they're not going to buy a yacht in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Very cool. Taking care of that first experience. Let's see. What are some of the main lessons that you've learned in your experience in Denison Yachting?
I think it goes back, and it's like in any economic cycle, any environment that you're in politically or whatever, if you just take great care of clients, the rest takes care of itself. You take great care of your people, the rest takes care of itself. We've had profitable years, we've had unprofitable years, but I'd say compared to our competition, we've always been really healthy in terms of like market share and just being a good, healthy, financially sound company, because we love taking good care of people. And on the employee side, again, that's easy to say. It gets tricky. And one of the things that I hope that we do a good job of is just creating an environment where people love coming to work and they feel comfortable to be who they are, even if they're a little different or a little weird. They feel comfortable just coming to work in their own skin and working hard and having friends here and just doing a good job like that. It's just simple stuff, but it can get complicated and hard once you start growing. You have different types of personalities, but that fundamental, I want people here to feel good about the place they work. I want them to feel like they can be themselves, even if it's not the same as everybody else. And that's important to our success.
Yeah. How do you do that? Because you have more than 100 people in your team. How do you keep them motivated, happy, and then also at the standard where they provide that same level of service that you want to give to your clients?
Yeah, we're not perfect at it all the time. I feel like we go through like ebbs and flows, but it starts, we've got great people to lead the company alongside me that encourage, and I hope my favorite kind of leaders are the ones that are a little weird themselves and they're willing to put themselves out there a little bit and be a little whatever, goofy or silly or
vulnerable. Yeah. And
there's that word intimacy, which I've heard at church before. It's like into me, like you can be an exceptional leader, I think, when you allow people to see you in a way that might feel a little, but like it creates a comfortable environment. Unless people know that you're human, unless people know that you care and you're willing to be a little weak to let that other person feel strong. All that stuff is just good human, like just being a good person kind of stuff. And you do that consistently. And again, you're going to have ups and downs of that, but I think it leads somewhere really good.
Yeah, love it. What are some like communities, events, like networking places that you go or are good for brokers in South Florida?
There's an association I love called International Yacht Brokers Association. They do great seminars, education, networking events, open houses, Miami Boat Show. They're an awesome group that I think this, and we're talking yacht brokerage. I think they're an exceptional, I think they're the best yacht broker association in the world. I also love what YPY is doing, professionals in yachting. And that I think that's my favorite part of what's happening in the yachting industry right now. There's a lot of really neat groups of people coming together, encouraging each other, getting together outside of work and just deepening those relationships. And I think the good things happen as a result. Way more of that's happening now than it was when I started out back in 01.
Are there any recurring meetings or something like that goes on?
The other association that I really love is Marine Industry Association of South Florida. They're based here in Fort Lauderdale, and they do great mixers, and they do great. They're not, I think, technically a job fair, but there's a lot. Actually, they do have a job fair thing. There's a lot of really cool things, and that's less yacht brokerage, although there is a component to that. It's more, again, Marine Industry Association. So think
general
and vendors and suppliers and all that stuff. There's a lot of really cool things happening there. And if you go on their website, there's a lot of neat events. They put together, it's every week they seem to have something cool going on.
Love it. All right. So last question, Bob. Do you have any other projects or goals going on with Denison, or also in your life, in your professional contribution? I don't know, any other projects going on that you're passionate about?
Oh man, my wife and I are about a month away from having our 5th kid. So that's a big new project that we're going to be working on. And we're really going to be hell bent on this charter thing, growth in Europe, and really trying to figure out that nonstop question of how to take great care of clients. And we're developing a few things on the tech side that's pretty exciting in terms of a closing platform and kind of the boring side of yachting, the paperwork and all that stuff. We
like the back end on your end?
We think there's a lot of things that can be improved there. So it's just nonstop stuff like that. And we're really excited about it. And we are seeing a little bit of a dip in demand right now, but I think that's short. And I think long term, it's going to be super exciting.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time. What a great conversation.
Thank you, Jose.
Super excited to put it all into shorts and post it all over. Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you for your time and for your input.